Qureate is slowly making a name for themselves because of their cultured games. Sure, a lot of visual novels like Fantasy Sextet that I don't really care about because visual novels simply are not my thing, but also games like Dual Princess, until it was pulled from the Nintendo Switch store. I am one of the lucky ones that got the game very early on. Dual Princess I'm talking about, and thus still have access to it, but it's absurd that others won't have the chance to play it. And let's not forget about Prison Princess as well livestream. Not taking the crap that happened to massage freaks because of fucking feminists into account, they also released Nozomu Kimi no Mirai, or The Future You've Been Dreaming of in the West. And as far as I know, it is uncensored. Okay, now let's talk about the game. This is the Nintendo Switch version you are seeing here. Before going into the story, you have 4 options in the main menu: New Game, Load, Gallery and Options. Now, you are seeing a 5th option called Free Mode, but this option is only unlocked after you've beaten the game 100%. In the options, there is nothing all too special outside of these additional settings that you also can unlock by playing the game. Gallery shows you every ending you've unlocked, the tutorials and whatever. Story mode is exactly that. You play through the story of our main character, Usui Sachi. She is a college student almost entering her adult life that spends her days lazily taking her sweet ass time and thinking about what she should become. However, since the building she was living on was supposed to be demolished, she was forced to move out and find a new place. But since she didn't have much to her name, not much time and no options, she had to settle for the next best apartment. But that apartment is inhabited by some kind of god, let's call it. While fishy, she still takes the place, and since she is desperate, she also hopes to get the help from that god, if he even exists. And now you come into play because you are that god. Your job is to help Usui grow and help her find her future. So yeah, in a way this is something like a life simulator with a ton of fan service. So the floating slow moving camera you are seeing looking at Usui is you. You float around while Usui does whatever. Since she is an optimistic airhead, you have to point to certain things in the apartment so Usui does what you want her to do, because otherwise she will just fart around and be clumsy at times. If she does what you want her to do, then her stats will increase: stamina, femininity, self-esteem, knowledge and life environment. And no, she doesn't see you at all, so feel free to also inspect her, if you know what I mean. So that's your job, and at first I didn't really get it. I mean, I got the gist that you need to help Usui find her way, but at first I didn't understand how nor what these cards on the floor were supposed to do, or the tutorial explained some stuff later on that wasn't explained well enough. But after a while I got it, and it's fairly simple. So you are a floating, let's call it, ghost. Usui clearly doesn't see you, and if you just stand there, she will do whatever she pleases, and no matter what she does, her stats won't increase until you trigger her activities yourself. It's actually fine to watch Usui do her thing, but that's not your goal. You have to float around and click on various things, so Usui does what you want. Like, if you want her to study to improve her knowledge, then you need to click on the open book on the table. If you want her femininity to improve, then you need to cook and so on. You will see here what actually gets improved. One issue, however, is that Usui is slow and you are a tad too slow as well, especially while turning. But about Usui, this is what I mean. Even when she is sitting on the floor studying and you just want her to use her tablet immediately after, Usui still needs to get up, move slightly towards the shelf, turn around, stand there for 1 or 2 seconds, and only then sit down to use the tablet. Even if you quadruple her movement speed, which is something you can do, she still has to do all those unnecessary moves. In total, you have 10 days to improve her skills and reach a specific level to unlock one ending out of 20. On this list, you will see what skill has to be improved to unlock a specific ending. The bar simply has to be between these two yellow points, outside of one ending where all 5 skills have to be maxed out. Also in this menu, you will see the ending you've unlocked and the ones you haven't. If you haven't unlocked it, then the title of the ending will be all in question marks. The pieces of paper you will find throughout the days, outside of the first and the last day, will have their own titles, and each title leads to an ending as long as your skill are at the appropriate level and you've collected all pieces of paper required. Some endings require you to collect 3 pieces while others just require 2. Each day will give you more time to affect Usui's ending or play around with her, if you have the time to do so. It's a fairly simple system actually, once you understand how it works. Later on, if you've unlocked enough endings, your fridge will have drinks inside that will increase or even decrease Usui's stats depending on which ending you want to achieve. And those drinks will make things far easier and faster to accomplish for you to enjoy the girl a lot more. You know what I mean, right? Of course you do. Now, what can you actually do with Usui herself? Well, you can make her do various things like read books, cook, take a shower, exercise, relax, etc. Sure, she does all of that by herself as well, but as I've mentioned previously, if she does it by herself, her stats won't increase. So for now, just make her do stuff. But you are more interested in the cultured aspect of the game, right? I like how you think. As the cultured ghost that you are, you have different altitudes that you can change on the fly, and certain altitudes will lead to certain views. Yes, a lot of panty shots as well, bouncy boobs for your dirty mind to enjoy. Don't worry, I am a dirty dog myself, so just embrace it. Sometimes you will be able to press Y to activate extra scenes to expose Usui a bit more. But if that wasn't enough, you can make her change her clothes. She goes to the bathroom, sadly closes the door, and you can choose what she should wear. If you have unlocked it, that is. Clothes, hairstyle and underwear. That's about all of what you can do in the story mode, and it's not all too bad. Of course, what drew me into the game was the cultured aspect of it. Yeah, what did you expect? That's the main reason I even played Waifu Impacto, Waifu Undercover, Bullet Girls, Omega Labyrinth and many more. Even Neko's Secret Room. Needless to say, I fully support fanservice and more games should have it. Fully uncensored of course. Screw all those fuckers that bitch and moan about it and choose to get offended over nothing. So yeah, the cultured aspect made the game way more fun, but even taking that out of it, the game is simplistic but not all too bad. Of course, there are things Qureate could improve here, like Usui's and your movement speed, and also the activities you could do. I mean, sure, there are quite a few activities and you will only have access to specific ones after a specific day, unless you play the free mode, where everything is unlocked from the start. But then there are areas that are of no use. I mean, Usui has a TV that she never turns on, nor ever interacts with it. Or her beauty corner over here also never comes into play. She interacts with her tablet on the table, but never with her phone on her bed. It's like the developers created this whole room with a bunch of activities for you to do, but for some reason they cut the amount of activities in half. The story itself isn't supposed to be taken too seriously, but at the same time I have no doubt that many people in her age go through a very similar thing with being students, still having no idea what they want to do, etc. Yeah, without the ghost god thing, of course. So simply putting your mind into it and trying can lead to great things. At least I think that's the message here, but who knows, maybe there is no message and Qureate just wanted to make a live sim fanservice goofy game, which is also fine and it works. Graphically the game is fine. Yeah, here and there Usui would simply go through things like the fridge, but outside of that, everything seems fine for what it is. But again, it's a shame that they filled up the room with things you can never interact with. But hey, embrace the panties and bouncy boobs! The style is actually pretty good. The characters were drawn by Morisawa Haruyuki. In the anime world, he is known for Rine no Rigrange and Tauro Hikushi no Tsuyoku, and in the light novel world, he is known for Babel, Eiyu Kyoshitsu, and Sokyu no Karma. And no, I've never seen nor read any of these. But from what I've seen in this game, his style is quite pleasant. The voice of Usui Sachi might be familiar to some of you. She was voiced by Takada Yuki, who voiced quite a few characters in anime and games like Shirai Hinako in both Blue Reflection games, Murasame Rin in Code Vein, Kranka in Caligula Effect 2, Elma in Kobayashi-san Chi no Mai the Dragon, Aki in Cocolors, and Reina in King's Raid, amongst many others. I admit that I did not know her name, but her voice sounded very familiar because of Blue Reflection, and yeah, she did a fine job over here as well. So overall, yeah, if this game ever came out physically, I would make sure to get it. I had a little bit of fun with this game in getting all endings, unlocking everything, changing Usui's clothes, mostly to this one, which is beyond delicious, and surely enjoying the overall cultured aspect of the game. Yeah, it has a few issues here and there, but just like Prison Princess, Dual Princess and Livestream, I think it's worth it. But as a side and final note, this goes towards Qureate itself and any other developer that has this kind of issue. Do not bow down to the feminist pieces of shit. They are evidently not the ones that play your games. We are. They just want to make an issue out of literally nothing because they literally have nothing else to do with their pathetic lives. Point is, don't simply cave in like you did with Massage Freaks on Steam. Grab your balls and stand your damn ground. Or at least release everything physically and uncensored on the Switch.